Manchester United's opening day fixture ended in a 1-0 defeat to Arsenal at Old Trafford. Controversial decisions, mistakes, we're going to break it all down. Also, the latest transfer news today. Jadon Sancho rejects a move to Roma. Have your say in the chat and we'll try and discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. Let's start with Jadon Sancho first. Your thoughts on that news?
Well, Jadon Sancho blows another move. It's not surprising, really, to be honest. He's cut talks with Besiktas, but a £20 million deal was agreed between United. That was the conversation going on, but he can't sort his contracts out with the AS Roma. So for me, again, he's just playing games. Sancho, he's got lots of opportunities to play football, but he doesn't want it, and he will not sort his contract terms out with any club. He wants the money, and that's what it's all about. Another deal down the drain, it looks like.
Yeah, rejecting moves to the likes of Chelsea, Champions League football, Roma as well, two good clubs. And if he's rejecting moves like them based on his performances over the last 12, 18, even 2 years, I mean, I don't see a way out in the summer's transfer window for Jadon Sancho, and I do think he'll sit on his backside and collect that money all the way up until the end of the season.
I think what it is, it's going to cost Man United money to move him on, to be honest with you. We have said, many of you out there have said that he'll go down to the wire, to the last day, and then Jadon Sancho, I think United will have to pay to get him out, to be honest with you. Sancho, footballer, is he a footballer? What's his motive here? It's all about money. And to be honest with you, I'm sick to death of Jadon Sancho and many other United fans out there. Is an embarrassment. We would cut our right arm off to play football. He's got the opportunity. But for the last few years, he's just played the game, and he's playing the game again. Like I say, he's cut off talks with any possible move to Besiktas. He keeps doing it time after time. And for me, the quicker we get him off, just pay him off. Just pay money to get him out of the club. That's what's going to happen. He will not let Manchester United profit out of him in any way. That's how I see it. Very stubborn man, very strange man, a footballer. Got the talent. He's definitely got talent. Whether it's the top talent, you know, is debatable, but he doesn't want to go and show it. He won't mind sitting in the reserves, walking around, training with the youngsters and everything. Man's got no shame. That's how I see it. That's how a lot of other people see it. For me, it's going down to the wire, and it will cost United. Definitely.
Another player they want out of the door, and that's Antony. But this is a player who does want to go and play football. But it's another situation where he expects it to go to the wire again, because I don't see a lot of interest out there other than Real Betis for Antony. And it doesn't look like a transfer fee or wages can actually be completed and a deal be done between player and clubs.
Well, this is down to Betis. They haven't got the money, and that's where Antony wants to go. And fair enough for Antony. He feels comfortable there. He did well there. So another one who's going to cost United, and another player who United will have to pay to get out of the club. It will cost United again, but it just seems to be a theme with the players what were left out of the squad, told they were surplus to requirement, just find a club. Yes, Antony's found a club, but they can't afford him, and he won't go anywhere. Just exactly the same as Garnacho. He's found a club, but he won't go anywhere else. Garnacho.
Yeah, do you think he'll actually end up going and making that move to Chelsea? Is this another one where it's going to go to the wire so Chelsea can pay as little as possible in a transfer fee?
I think, again, I keep repeating it. You know, Monday morning, I'm repeating things. It's going to cost United. Yeah. Garnacho is adamant on going to Chelsea, but Chelsea are playing the game. They know they've got United. They've got United like that. And they're going to just offer silly money for someone who's got potential to improve and be a top player. Now, that's down to Garnacho, but a lot of people think he's a great player and he's going to improve. And I think he will improve at Chelsea. But Chelsea don't want to pay the money. They're playing the game. You know, they've took lots of money off different teams. They want top money for their players. But when it comes to buying, they're very canny, and they know they've got the... how can I describe it? They're in the driving seat because the player wants to come, right? He's sorted out his wages and everything else like that, all his personal terms. So Chelsea are just going to sit there and play the game. And Garnacho keeps coming out with words, and he's determined to push that move and hold United to account. United want him out, and he's saying, that's where I'm going. He's under contract, and to be honest with you, I think he'll stay at United if Chelsea don't come in, if United don't crumble to Chelsea's thing. And I think Garnacho won't care about it, to be honest with you.
You've also got the forgotten man, Tyrell Malacia, as well. Will he make a move in this summer's transfer window? But I think what it is as well with a lot of fans, they understand that getting Garnacho out the door as soon as possible. It looks like Rasmus Hjulmand could be on his way. Also, if there's 2 players there that you can get a transfer fee for, that can be reinvested into the squad right now. And a lot of fans out there are now screaming for a goalkeeper after seeing Bayindir against Arsenal and still wanting a midfielder coming in this transfer window.
Yeah, look, there's no talks, official talks ongoing about signing players. And, you know, out there, everyone's going on about a midfielder and a goalkeeper. And I think if United are going to pounce late, I think they have to get some money in. And Hjulmand there, you know, as predicted, he was left out of the squad. So his move to AC Milan, I think that's hotting up. I think we'll see an agreement this week. Whether it's a loan with an option to buy, I don't know. But to buy any players now, I think United just want some money back in. So for me, a midfielder and a goalkeeper, yes, we'd love that. We'd absolutely love it, especially after that terrible mistake again from Bayindir. I think it has to be a goalkeeper. But we need the money, and United want to try and balance the books.
You've got to remember, though, they did go and talk to intermediaries to do with Baleba. So United in a position where they actually do have to sell before they buy. Maybe they're not in that position that most of us actually think, and they have got a few quid spare where they can go and purchase, whether it's a goalkeeper or a midfielder.
Listen, they would prefer to start getting some money in as well. They're not just going to spend. I think with 2 weeks to go, their priority at this moment, right? They'll look at a midfielder. They possibly might be looking at a goalkeeper. But I think what they've got to do now with 2 weeks to go, and everyone, you know, it's been several months now, and these players aren't off the books. So someone inside there has got to do the work and get these players out. There's only 2. Someone will be held accountable, definitely, for not shifting these players on and sorting out a deal. Now, there was a plan at the beginning of the transfer window. We brought players in, that's fine. But the big plan was getting rid of these players, because at the end of the season, 5 players were put on the sidelines and told to find a new club. And they haven't done that. And the people inside haven't been able to sort of like work a deal out where these players are off the book. So it's going to be hard work now for 2 weeks. I think United fans' nerves will be going. They want them out. We all want them out. But they want money. United want money. You can't just keep spending. So someone will be held account for failing to get these players out. And I think we might all have to wait till the last day, or maybe the possible couple of days, to see these players going out. But I can tell you this, my belief is it's going to cost Manchester United. And a lot of people out there did say a couple of months ago, just get them off the books, you know, just pay them to get out, just get rid. We're under a new regime, we're changing in everything, what's going on at the club. Let's start afresh, just get them out. So that's what might have to happen. That's a possibility. But I definitely do believe it's going to cost Manchester United with all these players.
By the sounds of it, all the noise coming out of Old Trafford, Rasmus Hjulmand has not been told he needs to leave Manchester United. But from my point of view, I don't know about yous out there, it's looking increasingly likely that Manchester United want him to leave in this summer's transfer window. Do you agree with that? Listen,
you left him on the bench. It was the only striker last year. It was the only striker, and he was left out of the squad. Well, the reason has to be is because Ruben Amorim doesn't want him. So it doesn't fit in the system. They don't believe he's going to improve going forward. And Ruben Amorim probably thinks, I can't improve this player. He is what he is. So let's get him out. He might do better going back to Italy. It might suit him a lot better. But he's definitely leaving. And I predict he'll leave this week. Conversations will go on today, tomorrow, and a deal will be arranged. But it's just unfortunate that he's not one of the 5 what was picked several months ago to get out of the club. And he looks like the only one we're going to sort out with 2 weeks to go.
It would make it actually all the more baffling if we actually did see Rasmus Hjulmand in the squad, or even start or get minutes against Fulham coming up on the weekend. Patrick Shields, thanks for your super chat. It says Jim will approve a percentage of wages to get them players out. I think you may mean paying off like some sort of payoff, for the likes of Sancho, etc. I'm sure they will do, mate. I think if it comes to the end of it.
No, I think there's been a lot of conversation. I think there's 2 conversations on wages. I think the conversation is like United didn't want to pay the wages, especially for Anthony and other players. But I think what they might have to do, they might have to pay maybe half or something. They might have to contribute to these players' wages to get them off the books.
Oh, right.
And I think that's what it might be with Anthony, to be honest with you. I think his wages, his full wages, are a little bit too much for Real Betis, and there's definitely no transfer fee coming from Real Betis. They just can't afford it.
Simply Dread from our members club says, the squad's thinner than me. Hopefully we can get a few more players in just for backup. What positions would you like, my mate? Goalkeeper, midfielder, anywhere else in the team? But I do want to go back onto yesterday's game. A lot of noise around Bayindir. Do you believe it was his fault that they scored, Arsenal? It was all down to him.
Too weak. What's he doing on the line? He was on his heels. I've watched it several times now, right? And he was just too weak. And then the effort to try and punch the ball, didn't punch it, absolutely weak. But it's not his first time, and people were going mental. A lot of controversy around it. People saying, oh, he was fouled and all that. No way was he fouled. He was just weak. He should have been pushing, should have been screaming, should have been fighting, should have knocked someone's head off to get the ball. You see it week in, week out with goalkeepers. They take no prisoners. It's like...
Well, you've seen it with De Ligt, with Raya later on in the game, didn't you, as well? Giving it back to them. And, I'm with football, where I see football sometimes now, it's becoming less and less a contact sport. I want to see more of that in the game, where it's physical and players battling with each other.
Yeah, a goalkeeper has got a little bit of leeway. Yeah. He can use his strength, his height and everything, and he'll get away with it. Normally, for a goalkeeper, you see it, goes out there, pushes, has a little bit of a tussle and all that. Very, very rare does a goalkeeper get the whistle blown on him and it's a foul.
When he goes straight through someone.
When he goes straight through.
Yeah.
And he was just weak, and that's what it is. A weak goalkeeper, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, I think refs are a lot more lenient with goalkeepers when they're going through players, when they're going in the air to catch a ball, etc. But take it back a little bit, I actually do think it was a foul, though, on Mason Mount in the build-up to that. He had his shirt up his back. It was nearly getting ripped off him. Well,
this is what people are saying. There's a lot of controversies in the game, and... a little bit. I think it was 50-50. Yeah, I think it was 50-50. You can't. I don't think you can blow up and disallow anything or even claim a foul on that. It was 50-50. 2 people fighting. If we want contact,
2 people fighting.
Well, that's what it is. You want to see that.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's just like people scratching. Well, just really going below the standards of what it is. Accept it and stop whinging.
Yeah, there was something similar going on as well on the edge of the penalty box with Gabriel, I think it was, and Luke Shaw. And Luke Shaw, I mean, he had a right grip of Gabriel's shirt as well, and that was nearly coming off his back at one point. But I want to fast forward it towards the end of the game as well. I mean, I didn't see it in real time. I seen it after the game, though. Surely that was a penalty for United on Cunha.
Always said it.
I could not believe that when I seen the replay, that wasn't given.
No, I said it from the beginning, and the more and more I see it, I'm convinced. I think when you look back at last year, VAR looking at that, they would have definitely given a penalty, but it's down to the referee. They weren't going to overrule the referee. The referee ignored it, but the ball went straight through the legs of him. So for me, that was poor refereeing. But hey, the game's over, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just going back to that, actually, with the goal Arsenal scored in the box. I did notice, tell me if I'm wrong, Lenny Yoro was free. It was like zonal marking. The same with De Ligt, he was at the back post. Do you really want your 2 biggest lads in the team against the threat Arsenal pose, especially on corners, basically zonal marking and leaving it to the forwards, the midfielders and everyone else, man marking or picking up runners? I'd rather have one of them at least marking Saliba or Gabriel with the threat they offer. So surely that starts on the training ground.
Yeah, but it's going to stay the same. That's how it was last year. It's not going to change. That's his preferred method of defending, and it's not going to change. They just have to be quicker. You have to say, first game and that, both teams will improve. Were they fully up to steam? I don't think so. I think they were both up to a speed of about 80%. There's more to come from these two teams. Arsenal were introducing new players, so they've got a lot of sorting out to do, just like United. So 80%, they're not up to it. In a few weeks, I think they'll be cracking on. But it is worrying about the position when corners and free kicks are took. Always has been.
Yeah, I want to know the positives that you took, though, from yesterday's game so we can discuss it and get your comments read out. But I do want to go on to Bruno Varela in the chat. O'Neill, between the two keepers, who would you pick as your first choice?
I won't pick any of them.
I'd pick you, to be honest, in that.
No, I won't pick any of them. I think the two poor goalkeepers. You know, I've listened to Arsenal fans, I've listened to pundits and that talk about the Arsenal goalkeeper. Right? They don't rate him at all. So is he a top number one goalkeeper to go and win the league? Not a chance. You know, you talk about United goalkeeper. We need a goalkeeper, you know, for us to improve, to get better than 15th last year. Okay, we need a better goalkeeper if we're going to win the league. Well, we're not going to win the league. We know that. But Arsenal think they're going to win the league. Well, I'll tell you what, they're not going to win it with that goalkeeper. And that's not me being a United fan. That's me listening to Arsenal fans, right? And what goes on in the football world. No one in the Arsenal camp believe they can win the league with that goalkeeper. He's got mistakes in him.
I've not seen a lot of the Sunderland, Leeds, and what's the other team that come up? Burnley. I've not seen a lot of their goalkeepers. But look at the free keepers that we've got. And the rest of the teams in the Premier League, I don't think any of them start for any of the other teams in the Premier League. And that's the problem we've got. And we've got free keepers to choose from. I mean, was it a mistake maybe sending Vitek out on loan this season? Did he go to Bristol City or Rotherham on loan for the season? Highly regarded in the background as well. Maybe it was a little bit too soon. Maybe give him a game in pre-season to see how he was.
It's not a mistake sending a goalkeeper out to get experience, okay, in English football. What the mistake is, right, not buying a Manchester United number one goalkeeper, one of the best in the world, years ago. We haven't done it. That's the mistake. Sending out players on loan like Vitek, right, that's fine. No problem with that, okay? Let's see what he's like when he comes back. But Manchester United should have gone out and bought a number one goalkeeper, and they haven't done that. They've got Onana. He's the number one goalkeeper, and we've got to back him. Right, and if he carries on making mistakes, that's it. Because I don't believe that United are going to buy a goalkeeper.
Jonas says, I do not know who our set-piece coach is. I'm not too sure myself. If you know out there, get it in the chat. What I was impressed with, though, yesterday, considering the amount of years I've always been treading on eggshells when our back three or our back four have got the ball out of their feet and they're looking forward. How many times do we see mistakes happen? But yesterday, I thought there was a calmness on the ball, and especially the ball being played forward.
There was 100% difference than last year, and there was plenty of positives in that game for all United fans to take away from it. Even though it was a defeat, you know, players stuck to the system. Yeah. Right through the game, they stuck to the system, and the back three did well, and they played football. They played the ball out, and they didn't worry about it. There was no panic, only in the crowd. Only in the crowd was the panic, right? And when the long ball was needed, the long ball was given. So for me, I think the system, the way they played, the players are really getting stuck into it. So there's positives going forward, right? But there's also, like, from fans, from us, but virtually from everyone, that there is a lot of worry there. You've got to remember, this club has had its guts ripped out, okay? And this is the first game. And, you know, I've got to say, things will improve. But will they improve to people's expectations? And it depends on each individual what the expectations are for the season. Mine is we'll finish 8th. I've said it, and I'm going to stick to it. That's how I see it. So to get to 8, it's a stepping stone. Like I say, you know, finish 15th, worst season ever. You know, and fans have to be realistic here about this club and this team. It will take time for players to gel. It will take time to get the right players in. A midfielder and a goalkeeper, that's coming next summer. That's how I see it.
I thought De Ligt was a monster yesterday. I thought he'd done really well. Every ball that come his way towards Gyökeres, I think 9 times out of 10 he won it, and is someone with the rest of the lads who they signed in the previous summer, like Xerxes, Agatis, etc. I wanted to see them make improvements this season, make that step up, and I think he started the season really well in his first game there, De Ligt, because we're going to need him going forward.
Yeah, well, let's hope he stays in that mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've seen players have one game, and then next thing you know, like, where are they? You know what I mean? Tell him he's rubbish and all that. You know, we want consistency. What we don't want is consistently getting beat. Okay, we need to get the next 2 games, get them won. But to be honest with you, you know, I listened to people after the game yesterday, and like everyone's confident, like go to Fulham, Burnley at home and all that. These are going to be tough games. Burnley will be fighting for their life. They've been beat as well. They don't want to like lose the first 3 games and then suddenly be put adrift and then the fight in relegation. They don't want that. They'll come to Old Trafford and they'll fight. And Fulham, they're a good footballing side. We know that. We've seen them play. At Old Trafford, I think they tore us apart, to be honest with you. Right? And when we played them in the Cup at Old Trafford, how they got beat, I'll never know in my life. Okay, they were so unlucky. But for me, Fulham is going to be a difficult game. They will play football, they'll play it on the ground, and they'll go at United. So, 6 points. We need the 6 points, but it's going to be tough.
I've not actually watched the game back as of yet, but I will do later on. But I thought the first half yesterday, I actually thought Casemiro was decent in that first half. Or was it a matter of Arsenal's midfield weren't getting to grips, they weren't up to standard, they were poor, basically, and made our midfield 2 look good?
Well, they're a new midfield, and it was difficult for them to get it going. And like I say, you know, they've got new players in there. They're trying things out. So it was very hard for them. I thought Odegaard done all right, but Saka failed for him. He didn't get the ball. But their midfield, I think Rice was sitting far too back because it's a new midfield and it's going to take time to gel. So I think United sort of had like a little bit of a benefit there. And United took it to him. United didn't get run through. Yeah, it got opened up. You expect your midfield to be opened up over 90 minutes in a game and that. But they did well. But is it the future? We know Casemiro's not the future. And people criticised Ugarte when he come on, saying he was all over the place and that. But hey, you know, he come on and we needed to go for a goal and maybe a bit of desperation. And we've seen that with a few players in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, you just mentioned Odegaard. I remember the megs he actually got on Casemiro. He done some great things, actually, Odegaard, yesterday, unfortunately. But, you know, going forward, though, with Casemiro being there, I mean, Casemiro's maybe had one more season too much here at United. And when he's being picked ahead of Ugarte, he only signed last summer, I mean, alarm bells are ringing there for me already. Well, that's on Ugarte's future. Well,
that's what I'm saying to people out there. We can go on individuals, okay? We can keep going on about individuals over that first game. But this is where I'm trying to say to people, you know, you have to be realistic exactly where we are. Odegaard just nutmegged Casemiro, went round him several times. Casemiro several times. Desperation, slide tackles again. You don't do slide tackles. You run, you chase back, but you can't do that. Okay, so we have got problems, and that's the reality of that game. Right? You can't stick with Casemiro going forward. And as Kieron says, Ugarte is the man for there. So really, Ugarte should have started, and it's the same on the right wing back. Ahmad should have started, and he didn't. So for me, that's confusing. But you just don't know the reasons why Ruben Amorim chose Dalot over that, because Dalot is not a right wing back, and he's certainly not going to be the right wing back, in my opinion, for the rest of the season, because he can't deliver the final ball.
I think Casemiro maybe is being picked ahead of Ugarte because maybe Ugarte's, the way Amorim sees it, is limited with the ball at his feet, his passing range going forward, whereas Casemiro, I would actually say, is a better passer of the ball than Ugarte, but Ugarte covers a lot more ground and you're in a bit of a catch-22. But from what Ruben Amorim always says, he likes a lot more control to his build-up in midfield. So maybe that's why at the moment he's choosing Casemiro over Ugarte.
Well, you're saying them two are crap.
They're not
No,
good.
you are.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't say good.
No, in my
Don't go over the
opinion,
top here.
right.
At the moment, right, Casemiro is being chosen because of his actual skills with the ball at his feet. Agati, if you even seen him in the previous game to the Arsenal, what we played, not good enough with the ball at his feet. And you can see why PSG sold Agati when you seen PSG play last season with their two central midfielders, João Neves and Vitinho. He's not got that control on the ball.
That's why people are screaming. And you can't blame him. On that analysis, I'm not saying you're wrong, right? On that analysis, what Kieran's just given, where's the midfielder? Why haven't they gone and bought one? Because on Kieran's analysis, and I don't disagree with him, and a lot of people out there don't like Ugarte, don't think he'll make it. Casemiro certainly won't. So that means we haven't got the midfielder, what should be in there. And that's the reality of it. Them two, right, aren't good enough going forward to improve this side.
Yeah.
We will be wide open. But I do believe Ugarte, there's a player in there, okay? But I've got no qualms on bringing a top midfield player in, right? So for me, that is not going to work. And that's why I keep saying, if we're calling two players who are in that position, and that's the position what we need filling, them two players aren't good enough going forward, and a lot of people agree with that assessment, then we should have gone and got a midfield player. And we can all agree, right, that a goalkeeper should have been bought.
Yeah, but if you're not going to go and get a midfielder, the solution to it and trying to fix it with this current squad definitely isn't dropping Bruno Fernandes in there.
Well, it's mix and match. And that's what I criticised Ruben Amorim for last year when he was playing players out of position. He was trying this position, position. Ruben Amorim says, and fans out there have said, I've seen the comments, I think I've even said it, that he likes to try players in different positions. No, not this year. This year, them experiments are over. You can't experiment this year after the worst season. Yeah, he's used it all up. You know, the gamble, every game was virtually a gamble by playing players in different positions. You can't gamble on having Casemiro there and Bruno. You just can't do it. And if he's got doubts about Ugarte, 3 months ago, he should have just put him on the transfer window and got rid of him. If he's not going to use Ugarte in front of Casemiro, then that's telling you we've got problems.
Vincent McDonald, thanks for your super chat, mate. He says, for me, Ugarte isn't good enough to be our number 6, and he's not had a great time as he started off pre-season. Come on yesterday, didn't really affect the game in the way you'd probably want a substitute to affect the game, and yeah, it is a problem area for me. I still think United need to go and get a midfielder in this window.
If you're in this Manchester United squad, okay, and you're the midfielder, you should be saying to yourself, why aren't I playing, right, before Casemiro, whose legs have clearly gone?
The thing is, though, one midfielder I think bringing in doesn't fix the problem, though. Because even if you bring another midfielder in, let's just say, for instance, Baleba, but it don't look like he's coming to United this summer, who do you then play him alongside? Bruno Fernandes? Do you play him alongside Casemiro, Ugarte? I mean, is that problem all of a sudden fixed with one midfielder? I don't think it is.
It helps if you bring a midfielder in and he's a top midfielder, you know. So for me, if that young... the age difference with Ugarte, the fitness and everything, and what he possibly can do, Ugarte, I've seen him do it. Proper workhorse, gets in there, cuts out the play, breaks it up and everything. I've seen it, right? But he must have no faith in him not to play him in front of Casemiro. So if he's got no faith in him, this is what I'm saying, and people have criticised Ruben Amorim for it, okay? If he's not got faith in players to play in that position, what they learn, then... why are they there? Why has he kept him? So for me, there's a lot of work going forward. I'm not going right in on it. There's a lot of work. It's going to take time to change this. And this is what I'm saying. I go back to it. And I'm not criticising Ruben Amorim. I'm not criticising the players. We've got what we've got. He's going to work with a small squad. Okay? So for me, it's over time. Things will change, and the position where we expect to finish in the league, when you know, for me, is 8th. I've said that. You know, everyone's got different things, but Champions League and all that, Europe and all that, I can't see it. because there's major problems inside this club with where players fit and are they still good enough. Yes, it's great bringing in players, right? But there's still lots of problems, right? There's an improvement in the team. We've seen that. They're sticking to the system, the fighting, the running, the energy's different and all that. That's great to see. Yesterday's football was a lot better than what we've seen last year. So for me, lots of problems inside this team, and Ruben Amorim has got to fix it to a certain degree. He's not going to get us up there, and some of these players just aren't good enough.
I think Agati, for me, he needs to be in that central midfield area with another midfielder who's close by. You can't have a player like Bruno Fernandes who's here, there and everywhere where he probably shouldn't be, even in the Stretford end. He needs someone alongside him because he's best at getting the ball back and playing it simple, either whether that's forward, left or right or behind him. And he's not got that passing range where I went back onto earlier on, but it's a position that needs sorting out. I think a lot of us fans do agree on that. And Barboa Helm says, trouble is Amorim will not drop Bruno no matter how bad he plays. And to be honest with you, you are actually bang on there, mate. And I think a lot of fans feel that way.
There is no fan, right, out there who I've seen says that is Bruno's position. And they all give an opinion of why he's not doing the proper job there and why he's better in a different position, okay? Bruno wants to play every game. He doesn't bring him off. Okay, it doesn't change the system by bringing Bruno off, does he? Okay, he'll move Bruno into a different position and all that. Well, that's not good enough for me, right? It's not his position where he is. So, has he started off? Is he too stubborn having Bruno in that position? And is he trying to like put a square
pegging around all?
That's what's happening, and that's not acceptable. Okay, fans out there, nobody's happy with Bruno in that position. A lot of fans agree Bruno's got the talent, he does the business further upfield and that. Some fans don't even like him. But hey, you know, how that works out, I don't know, right? But for me, he's got to be further forward. But Ruben Amorim is the only person, right, who wants Bruno in that position because he believes he can do something in there. And I and everyone out there, virtually everyone out there, has not seen Bruno produce it in that midfield position.
It's all right when you've got 20 minutes to go. We've seen it a few times in games, even last season. 20 minutes to go, the game becomes more open, especially in midfield. Sometimes the opposition, especially at Old Trafford, might sit back and look to counter, which some teams have done, and they've gone and got goals through it. But there's always more space for Bruno to get on the ball and move the ball forward. Sometimes he doesn't move it quick enough, though, for me. There was a couple of games in pre-season where I thought he was at his best. First-time balls, one-touch passing. I don't want him in that central midfield area, or especially on top of his back three, and he's taking 2, 3, 4 touches. It doesn't work.
Bruno was giving the ball away yesterday. He nearly caused a goal yesterday because he was further back. He was on the edge of the area. You know, there was several wayward balls from him, okay? But you've just got to look and sort of say to yourself, this team has to improve. But the thing is, it won't improve if players are playing in positions, right, what's not their best position.
Yeah.
And fans out there are critical about it. He might be just experimenting, but you can't experiment as far as fans are concerned. All them experiments were done last year. He should know where he's going to play players, who's his best players and all that. And if he's thinking for the first game of the season against Arsenal at Old Trafford that Casemiro, at his age and no legs, is a better player in that position than Ugarte, then you've got to say to yourself, he doesn't trust Ugarte. So why didn't he do anything about it? Why hasn't he gone and got a player in to replace Ugarte? Because he wasn't going to replace Casemiro because he believes Casemiro is a better player than Ugarte. That's how it looks to me. That's how it looks to me, and I think a lot of fans out there have discussed it. I've seen a few comments going, why is Ugarte on the bench? Casemiro's not the long-term future here. He's not going to last the season. And that team, what should have been on the pitch, should have been the first team, the best team, and I don't believe it was.
I thought some positives, though, yesterday. Mason Mount. I thought he had a really good game, Mason Mount, not just with some of the touches, his passing going forward, but his defensive work as well, helping out, tracking back, and Cunha and Mbumo as well. I think they're going to be real positives for us going forward this season.
Well, there's a different ability in Mason Mount, tracking back, helping out in the defensive duties. He doesn't cause chaos. He doesn't do any wayward passes.
Simple. Everything simple. Gets the ball ticking over, moving.
That's right. And that's the difference with Bruno. Bruno seems to want to take that extra touch. And he got caught a few times. And if you look at last season, the same again. So maybe that's fitness. I don't know. Maybe that's just Bruno's style. But for me, we've got a lot of improving to do on yesterday. Both sides have got a lot of improving to do, but the signs are good. And I'm positive going forward. I'm just disappointed. I think everyone's still disappointed and on a downer from yesterday at the goal we conceded. It just reminded them of last year, and we just thought we'd moved on. And that's the bad thing about yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, a draw. I think if a draw would have happened yesterday, I think everyone would have come out the ground bouncing, saying, "Oh, did you see how they played? The system, the back three did well, this did well, and all that." And we would have overlooked some of the discrepancies. But the thing is, you know, with these transfers and non-transfers, players coming in, players going out. That's what we've got to concentrate on now for the next 2 weeks. And United just improving and making sure they get 6 points. And then there's an international break.
You can clearly tell, though, yesterday, even though I think Mbeumo, Cunha and Mount played well, we need that centre forward up there. We need that focus, that target man in Sesko, and he needs to get match fit as soon as possible. And let's hope he starts against Fulham.
I think when you look at Cunha and Mbeumo, I think it's going to, you know, I can't wait for it to click in where players are in tune with each other. And these are two really good footballers. And the quicker all the players around get in tune to what Cunha needs, what Mbeumo needs, you know, I think it's exciting going forward, to be honest with you. Mbeumo, I thought really he should have took a few more free kicks. His left foot is lethal at delivering the ball, but I think he failed once or twice with a few crosses yesterday. But it's the first game. I don't think he's fully fit, nowhere near fully fit, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but as soon as the rest of the team gets in tune to Cunha and Mbeumo, and then, you know, we've not even talked about Sesko. The more game time he gets, after that international break in a few weeks, he'll be fully fit, ready to go. I think you'll see a different United, to be honest with you. I think we've just got to fight through the next 2 games and get the points. And I don't think it's about the performance. It's just about getting them 6 points.
I want to see better delivery, though, from all the players, though, in the forward areas, especially when we've got a lad the size of Sesko and his aerial ability. But let's wait and see on that. We've got an Arsenal fan in the chat. Zay Miasi, thanks for your super chat. We were awful yesterday and still won. You will have to improve to return to London. Cunha and Mbeumo look good signings. Come on, you Gunners.
Yeah, well, you know, you weren't awful. I think what you did a professional job. And I don't think anyone is actually sort of like saying Arsenal did well. I think they're saying they were under par and they were lucky. I don't think they were lucky. I think they did a professional job. I did say yesterday, how many fouls were they committing? They were stopping the game and then they were regrouping, getting behind the ball. And that's what they did. They crowded it out. They tried to limit United. And I think they just tried to catch United out. They knew they weren't up to 100%. Fully fit and all that, and it's early days for them, and I think they did a professional job, right, protecting a 1-0 lead and then hoping to try and snatch the second goal to relieve the pressure. So they just battled, and I think that's what it was. I think the creativity wasn't there, and I didn't see Saka at all yesterday, and he's the most exciting player for Arsenal. So it tells you what Arsenal did. It was a battling performance and it was a professional, and all the dark arts were out there from Arsenal, and we've seen that for years and years with them.
Yeah, Dorgu, I think it's looked decent in pre-season. Yesterday was unlucky as well with a shot that hit the post. And yeah, I'd just like to thank you all for joining us today, getting involved in the chat. It's been popping off in there as usual, which is great to see. Smash a like on today's video as well to help support the channel. We're over 95,000 subscribers now, so 95,000 of us in the community all chatting about Manchester United and a general football chat. It's great to see. We're on the march to 100k, so let's get us there before Christmas, hopefully. We'll be back tomorrow with another live show, so get that notification on and we'll see you soon. See you in the next one and take care.